Hey, what's up, guys? It's Bias Sports here with another Bias Take. So I know you can see right away in the title, you can see Alabama's got a fraud at head coach, and he's from Washington. You just can't expect that Alabama will be the same without Nick Saban. How? Nick Saban was the best coach of all time, the most winningest coach of all time. He has all those championships. They will take a step back. He's a better coach than Caleb DeBoer. He led the defense. He's a motivational guy. He's freaking Nick Saban. Guys want to come play for him because he's Nick Saban. This guy from Washington, I seen a magical year, yes, and I seen a good coach. But that's not everything. That's not Nick Saban. Nick Saban's Nick Saban. There's only one of those. So I'm expecting a drop-off. And I'm expecting things to be hard Caleb DeBoer's first year. This isn't the Pac-12. He doesn't have Michael Penix. Jalen Milroe's is a good quarterback, but he doesn't have 6 years of experience. He doesn't have the same accuracy that Michael Penix had. And he doesn't have the same amount of weapons. Alabama has good weapons at receiver, but there's not really a standout guy that you can go to and wow, that's the guy. No. Next, he's going to have trouble with this schedule. How is he going to adjust to this SEC schedule? It's the SEC. He's going to play he's going to have to play Georgia every year, LSU, Texas A&M, Ole Miss, Florida. These are just normal games every week. Now you got Oklahoma, you got Texas to play. Man, his schedule last year was pretty weak at Washington. He's going to be tested early and often. And I see at least 3 to 5 losses. And that's going to really hurt recruiting. That's going to really hurt the fans. The fans are going to be so hurt because they're used to this Nick Saban standard. Nick Saban standard is college football playoffs, SC championship every year, national championships. That's not going to be the standard anymore. Because if you finish this year 8-4, 9-3, 7-5, guys are not going to want to come play for Caleb DeBoer. He's not Nick Saban. He got a few guys in Washington. That was really an older team. I just don't see how it's going to translate to Alabama. The situations are not similar at all. Not similar. So, good luck. And if Caleb DeBoer is a bust, Alabama, you're going right back to where you used to be. In no man's land. We remember after Bear Bryant left, you were irrelevant for a long time. You had a few good years in the 90s, and then the 2000s was a real struggle before Nick Saban got there. We're talking 5 wins, 6 wins, 7 wins. Not the regular standard you're used to now. National championships, 10, 11 wins every year, 12 wins, 13 wins. No. But let's see what Caleb DeBoer is going to do. Let's see what happens his first road game in the SEC. It's a close game. Let's see what call he's going to make. Let's see if he does everything right. I think he's going to have a bad year this year because the stakes are high, man. It's Alabama. You're replacing the GOAT. It's not easy to replace the GOAT. Show me a coach who's replaced the greatest coach and done good, or a player who's replaced the greatest player of all time and done good the next year. Because I haven't seen it. It takes time. And usually it doesn't work out. I say this it's honest. Usually it doesn't work out and steps happen. They fall back some. So, but I think with Alabama it's going to be even worse because if they fall back some, that's going to hurt recruiting. And we all know now in today's age of college football, that portal recruiting is the most important thing. And if you don't have the greatest coach of all time, what are guys wanting to go do in Alabama, in Tuscaloosa? There's nothing there for them to do. This isn't Miami. This isn't California. This isn't Texas A&M where they're getting paid $10 million or they go get to play at Oregon with the beautiful uniforms and all the free gear and everything. Tuscaloosa's a boring college town. So if you're not having success, guys are definitely not going to want to come. And your name's not Nick Saban. He's from Montana. What is he going to relate to guys from the South? How? That's about as far different from Southern guys as possible. Maybe, they could talk about hunting, but I just don't see it. I see, him as a weird fit. This is a swing and a miss hire. I just feel like, I don't know who you could have brought in, but I just think that this one is just, you're putting him in an impossible position. And Alabama's pockets are not as deep as people think. I'll say it again. Those NIL pockets at Alabama are not as deep as people think. There's some real oil money out here in the college football landscape. There's some real billionaires backing programs in the college football landscape. There's a lot of money going around. And before, when Nick Saban was younger, he was able to pay everyone under the table and they had enough money. But now that the checks are out in person and everyone can see the totals, you'll see that Alabama doesn't have the money that some of these other programs have. So then that comes down to guys wanting to play for the coach. And I don't see guys wanting to play for Kalen DeBoer. Not in Tuscaloosa. Not if you have a few bad seasons. Why? It makes no sense. I see guys rather going to the new Alabama with the new Nick Saban in Georgia, right down the road with Kirby Smart. Why not? If you're a recruit, if you're even just someone want to go look at a game, why not go to Georgia? Why not go to a Georgia game? Why not go to Georgia where you have the coach has been there, they've been winning championships, and instead of going to where this new coach is and he's trying to replace the GOAT, it just makes more sense. Kirby's trying to become the GOAT. He's already on his way. He's already there. So guys are going to start looking there. So I'm just hoping that things go differently for this program than I think, but I just can't see a strong trajectory. If you look at every school, Ohio State, Florida, Georgia, Florida State, Michigan, after every time they've had a big-time coach leave or a legend coach leave, there's a big adjustment period and people lose. And most of those coaches get fired. Most of those coaches that replace a legendary coach don't stay there for 20 years and win 7 championships. Most of them don't ever even win a championship. And I think that's the case with the fraud from Washington. He will not win a championship at Alabama. Hate to break it to you. He will not win a championship at Alabama. I'll say it one more time. Kalen DeBoer will not win a championship at Alabama. It's just not happening. There's too much competition. That the NIL money, there's too much money out there. There's no advantage that he has now at Alabama. So it's going to come down to coaching, and it's going to come down to knowing the SEC. And there's a powerhouse down the street in Georgia, and I got my money on them over Kalen DeBoer. I got my money on Kirby Smart being a better coach than Kalen DeBoer. And you got guys like Lane Kiffin. Even him, for an SEC coach, I got him above Kalen DeBoer. He's a top SEC guy. Steve Sarkisian, I got him above Kalen DeBoer. Another SEC great coach. I won't put Brent Venables over Kalen DeBoer. I think Kalen DeBoer, definitely Alabama's in a better spot than Oklahoma. But I just don't see him having all this success. I see definitely they'll take a step back. And I know the fan base is going to be real upset about this. But just if you look at historical data, nobody's ever replaced the GOAT well. It's impossible. It's a lot of pressure. And to expect a guy coming from the Pac-12, coming from Washington University, have you been out west? The football's not the same. This is not the South. This is not Tuscaloosa, Saturday, Friday Night Lights. It's way more serious down here. It's way more serious in the South. I don't think he's ready for that. I don't think he's ready for that at all. it's going to be a big adjustment. It's going to take a couple years. And at the end of the day, I think he'll end up getting fired in a few years because the expectations are championship. The expectations are SEC championships. They're going to the Final Four. They're winning the national championship. And that's not going to happen right away. And I don't think it will happen at all for Kalen DeBoer. So, all right, let me know what you guys think. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Bias Sports. I'm out.